Midwives, I was watching mom vlogs of other natural births. Shout outs to Legaci-allong. Shout outs to, I don't know a lot of other names, but Legaci-allong is someone I really studied because she had a silent birth. Her last baby she didn't even scream until she was crowning, also known as the ring of fire, meaning when the head is like right there coming out. That's the only time she made a sound. So studying that and studying her little short courses of media perception. I forgot, it's like an acronym she uses for transmuting what you're watching, because what you watch is it dwells into your subconscious. So if you're pregnant and you're watching pregnant movies or pregnant birth stories, and women are tearing and women are screaming and sweating and blood is everywhere, what do you think that you're downloading into your subconscious to make you reflect into your birthing experience? So learning that from people who experienced that, who have license certificates in these things, actually paved the way for me, and I'm truly grateful for them.
Peace. Here on the mic. If you don't know who I am, I go by Zahir, and I am participating and doing things a natural way with my beautiful queen here, and that's pretty much what we have to share. So
our birthing story, how we had an unassisted, natural, at-home water birth. It was a blessing. It was fulfilling. It was hard. It was painful, yet uplifting. We don't know necessarily when we started to get to come into labor, because I thought that same day that everything was happening, in the early part of the day, it was Braxton Hicks. So that same day we had an appointment with our midwives, and the plan was to have our son in a birthing center. So we would have a regular weekly appointment, because by this time I was at week 38, week 39. And we had that appointment. We drove out, 40 minutes to the birthing center. When we got there, I was having Braxton Hicks I assumed the word Braxton Hicks about 7 minutes apart. So imagine like sitting on the table or sitting on the couch, whatever, in our midwife room, and we're talking and getting blood pressure and and belly observations, and you can literally see my stomach contracting, which we assume was Braxton Hicks. And for those, I was just literally talking through them, having a conversation through them. When they were intense, I was just like closing my eyes, breathing and smiling. And this was around 1 p.m. November 5th, 1 p.m. So if you want to basically calculate from the start of that 1 p.m. to the time he actually came out that night, I was at, I would say 9 hours in total, but active labor was only about 3 hours. Because I did so well for the first two cycles of the birthing, because I didn't know I was in labor. I just thought that they were just like extreme Braxton Hicks and my pelvic bones, separating, and all the pains that you feel, all the pressure. I just thought it was just preparing my body for the birth. Braxton Hicks that they did see, they were saying how you might be back this weekend, and we're gonna have a rainy weekend, so that usually, spiritually brings a lot of babies to birth. So we were like, we're gonna get back in the house, we're gonna cook, we're gonna prepare our food.
People were saying the belly didn't drop yet, so we were like, oh, you got another such and such. We listening to these elders that been in the game for a while, but
not to even mention we were 5 days before our day of birth.
Yeah, early than 5 days.
He was supposed to be coming on November 10th, and it was on November 5th. So I'm just like, oh, these are just little preterm, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. So like just that bounce back of information. And that's really what you need. You don't need a specialist. You need to bounce back information. You need critical thinking, and you need to allow your body to do what it does. And that's why I feel like we can have them in the house, because I've seen the body do so many amazing things that I'm looking at her like, come on, who else do you need? Like, for real. Like, you don't really need me, but I'm just the icing on the cake. I felt that the herbs that we were taking played a big contribution to how he came out. He wasn't sitting in between her legs for 30 minutes and with a rope around his neck, or with his umbilical cord around his neck. We weren't, sitting there straining, having her push multiple times, because, the level of health that we, that she was at, and the herbs, and we know what herbs are doing to the uterus. We actually took red raspberry leaf to loosen up
my uterus,
to loosen up the uterus, and to provide more slippage and things like that. And the way he shot out, it was like, well, seems like they're working. And I also had other people telling me, which was the midwives, telling me they had other accounts of people chugging this red raspberry leaf, and the baby shoots out the same way.
And the night before I actually gave birth, I was having a little bit of Braxton Hicks and cramping, lower belly, some other weight pressure I was getting down there, and he made me a huge, it was like a tall glass of red raspberry leaf tea, and I think that's what actually brought him up the next day. Like literally, because we always that blows past my memory that I actually drunk that whole glass, and I drank it so fast, and the next day those Braxton Hicks started, literally, like as we approached our midwife birthing center. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like it was amazing. The Braxton Hicks, the way they came on, it was like, in a way you could almost say she was in labor for a week, but it wasn't. It was just the way the Braxton Hicks let up, and they let on so subtle,
light. Yeah,
so lightly.
It was just like you feel something tighten, and you like,
right,
and then you let go, and like, okay, you finish chopping your vegetables.
It was literally like a build up, like a song to a climax. It was really like that, and I got to see that. Even her belly drop. That song started to get really fast toward the end. I got to see her stomach drop. Those people telling me that it wasn't going to drop for another such and such, and it dropped like in hours. I watched it.
Since it happened so fast, and it happened on the 5 days before we even expected it to happen, cameras and things of that nature wasn't even prepared, and it wasn't prepared for a reason. My mom was on my phone on FaceTime. He was on his phone with the midwives who didn't come until about 30 minutes after I had the baby in the bathtub. So the clips that you're going to see is just literally when I first got in there. When you put me in there with lavender leaves and with chamomile, and you were pouring the water over my back.
I didn't know the flash was gonna come on. I'm sorry. I gotta get my footage.
Yeah, I gotta time it now. Oh, there's another one coming out. Does it feel better when you lay back? Still about an hour or two before he even came out. And then from then on,
it wasn't that long, because I'm trying to tell you, she doesn't know because I have the timestamps in my phone.
And he knows when he records and took pictures.
It feels
to see
long
the time.
to her, but it was not that long. It's not that long.
He's saying it was a couple, like 2 hours.
Yeah, it was probably it's like 2 hours. And when that mucus plug came out, it was like, you'll see the time. But
that was too hard. Look at that. It was too hard. The time where things got a little heavy, and I was at this point making loud noises. They say I wasn't loud. I think I was loud because compared to how I practiced my birthing time, I practiced to breathe, to moan, and to be, to channel that, transmute that energy within. So I felt like I was loud as hell. But at that time where I did feel like I was starting to get loud, that's when the mucus plug came out. I felt this big gushy thing. If you don't know what a mucus plug is, Google it really quickly. This is like basic, labor, baby delivery 101. Like literally scooped it out of me. It was like, oh yeah, opened his fingers and sent the picture in the group chat with my midwife. We actually kept the mucus plug as he wiped it on a piece of napkin, and we have it in the Ziploc bag.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's that's another thing you just learn. Like, I'd never heard of that before this. So the type of person I am, I get in there in the ring. I just jump in the ring and learn. So. happened so fast. Like,
so he can talk about the placenta process. Our baby was a Lotus birth. Here, the Lotus birth. He was a Lotus baby for 8 days.
And that's the umbilical cord here.
It's almost dry, and it's not even 24 hours.
Yeah, it's getting dry really fast. It's drying out. He's looking real healthy.
Very healthy.
So, you know, on that live, when we get, you know, live with y'all, we'll run down the details more so in the live of, you know, how we were feeling, and I can look at, you know, the pictures and the timestamps and give y'all like, no, this actually happened 15 minutes. That's how quick it happened, because it happened so fast. Like, I didn't even get much footage, but I can definitely prove to you that he was born in the tub. That's all I got. The better, and yeah.
And he latched.
All right, y'all. Peace, love, light, just to balance it out.
Yin and the yang and the yang and the yang.
Peace.
As Jesus to hear.
Hi, so I wanted to let you guys know how good Legaci-allong's home birth course is. My first child, I had him 8 weeks early, so it was kind of a scare, and being in the hospital was just like so depressing, and I was just like, the next time I'm going to trust in myself, I'm going to trust in my body and just do everything the natural way. So I was looking on YouTube and I found Miss Legacy's video, and I was like, okay, let me watch it. And I saw that she offered the home birth course. She gave a lot of good information, like birthing positions, good things to eat, even the checklist. That helped a lot, so I can know what to get. And I finished the home birth course. I'm just ready, and I'm just 4 months, but yes, get the home birth course. That was such a great help.